Hi, welcome back to our Translator Insider. So, are you ready for another month of Insider? I hope you are. After this 2 week break, we will start our month of May talking about websites and how important they are for our business. So, each week of May, I will be addressing a certain aspect of having a website and telling you what you should and shouldn't do with your website. So stick around and let's talk websites. And this week we start our website blog talking about websites, and we will answer the question, why having a website? Why is it so important for a translator to have a website? Well, the question is, or the answer, should I say, it's very easy. In my view, it's a no-brainer, really. It's the making the difference between a serious business and just some amateur. That's my perspective. I'm not saying that I'm right or I'm wrong. This is what I believe. This is what I always believed. And since the very beginning of my career, I always invested in having a website because I believe that a website is a fundamental tool not only to your marketing campaign, but it is a way of getting yourself known and for your clients to find you. So I think it is crucial to have a website, and this is something that I have always advocated for. And now that I have my courses published and I write about translation, now I have this channel, and I obviously want to pass that message to my colleagues that are starting out now, because I believe this is really, really important. And why? First of all, it sets you out as a business. You can't imagine a multinational company without a website, can you? You cannot imagine, for example, and I'm talking about, for example, in my field of specialization, you cannot think about an airline without a website. It would simply not exist, right? You cannot think about a company without having a website these days. So why shouldn't you have one? Because I know, and you know, that a lot of us just work alone. At the moment, I work alone. I used to be working in a team with another independent translator, and Updated Words was a team, but these days it's just myself. However, I am a business, and we should see ourselves as a business, and therefore we should invest ourselves, and we should invest in our business. It doesn't matter if it's just us or if we have a whole bunch of colleagues working with us. The principle should be the same. We should invest in our business, and we should make our business known and should make it grow, which is the most important thing. It is also the best marketing tool. And why? Because these days everything happens online, and you know, and especially after what these last 2 years, everything had to be online. Even your office meetings out of a sudden were made in Zoom. So online presence became, if I already believed that online presence was paramount for any business, after 2020, I strongly believe that you can't survive without it, because it's the only way your customers can find you. If you have a small shop, let's say, clothing shop or a restaurant or a cafe or something, you can be found in another way. If you have a very good location, you have a shop and you have a very good location, your customers can find you there. Obviously, in the last 2 years, things changed. And a lot of these businesses, a lot of these physical businesses moved online because they could not operate in the physical world. They could not be open because of regulations, and therefore they had to find another way to survive. Obviously, not this did not apply for restaurants and cafes, but for example, for clothing shops, shoe shops, all other types of shop that still can operate in an online basis. But what happens with us translators? We don't have a shop. We don't have a physical place where people can just pass by and see us there and get in and ask what we do. We don't. Basically, from the start, our business is online. We just work online. So if we want to be found, we need a website, because that's where our clients want to find all the information about us. I know that we have translators forums, we have our associations, we have all other avenues that clients can find us. But if you're really serious about your business, and especially if you want to work with corporate clients will be looking for you not only on LinkedIn, but they will have a look at your page and see what you have in there. This is something very important and that you should bear in mind. Now, the benefits of having a website, and I think I already mentioned a few of them. First of all, you have your own domain. And having your own domain, it allows you to have your own, your email address will have your own domain. And obviously that gives you a more professional outlook. You are seen as a professional. You are seen almost like you are seen as a company, as a business. Rather than if you use a Gmail account or an Outlook account or whatever, a free email account, you are just seen as a freelancer. Nothing wrong with freelancers, because in reality, we all end up being freelancers and that's what we do. But unfortunately, we know that a lot of clients and a lot of people just see us as a less valuable worker. And if you have your company, if you have your own domain, your own page, you are not seen as a freelancer anymore. You are seen as an entrepreneur. And that's the difference. And I think that's really, really important to understand. Gives you credibility as well, because it sees how motivated and how committed you are to your business, and therefore it really shows that you are serious about what you do. You really love it with all your passion, and that's also something the clients will like. Gives you exposure, obviously, because it's your online presence. It's basically your shop online. And of course, it allows you to create your brand. With a website, you will create your logo, you will create all that image around yourself, around you and your services, that it is your brand. And then people will know you for that logo, for the colors you use in your website, for whatever you have in there. And that will become, it's, for example, like any other company. Today, we don't really need to read, let's say, Qantas. We just see the logo with a kangaroo when we already know this is Qantas, this is the Australian airline. Why? Because they built their brand, and we know that's their brand, that's their image, that's what they are known for. And that's how they're known. Of course, people know that they have flights, what they do, etc., where they come from, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But in the beginning, Qantas needed to do what we all do. They needed to create their brand and advertise for it. So that's the benefits of having a website. There are a few setbacks, and I I don't really like to call them setbacks because I don't think they are setbacks. I think they are just things to consider, things that you need to do in order to keep your website. And one of them, it's an expense. And that's one of the reasons a lot of us, a lot of translators, don't invest in a website in the beginning because they consider it an expense. Don't consider it an expense. See it as an investment. Believe me, it will pay off because you will be seen differently. It must be maintained regularly, and I'll be talking about this in the course of the month. A website needs to be maintained regularly. People want to see new content. People want to see new colors, new fresh ideas. They don't want to go to the same place every single time and see every single day the same thing, or every time that they go in the course of 5 or 6 or 7 years and see exactly the same thing. It gets them bored if all they see, oh, okay, I came here, I read this, I already know. So what's the point of coming here? I already know what they have in here. So keep it fresh. I would say don't let your website to be, or a version of your website to be published longer than 3 years. But I would recommend every 2 years to change the version of your website. I'm in the process of doing that for my website. That will be 2 years at the end of this year. And then obviously it's all these, it's time consuming because you need to create new content, you need to think about a template. Of course you can pay someone else to do that for you, but that's another expense. And if we are talking about it as an expense, and if we already think is kind of a burden, then if you have to pay someone else, it will be another burden added on top, which is unnecessary because you can, obviously, if you are a linguist, you can create your own content and you can do it yourself. And it's not that hard. So think about it that way. It is your brand. It is your shop. It is the way your clients will see you. It is the way they will find you. And I think it is a very important tool for you and your business. I wouldn't see it as an expense. I wouldn't see it as a burden. I would see it as something very, very important for any business. And that's all in this first Insider for May. I hope you liked it. I hope with this video I could really pass on the message of the importance of having a website and why we should all have a website. It doesn't have to be very complicated. In fact, less is best when it comes to websites. It doesn't have to be all crazy. Something simple, something that tells everything that you do, what you are, what you do, where a client can find you, your pricing, etc., etc. Something simple, and the client will appreciate that because they will find everything about you, everything they need to know, and obviously they will be able to make a more informed decision if they are to hire you or not. This may be less important when you just deal with private clients, even though a lot of private clients today, and we live in the internet era and people look online for services, but you may get away without it with private clients. But definitely, if you work with companies, if you work with the corporate world, you definitely need a website because you need to see, and your clients need to see you on an equal base. They need to deal with you as an entrepreneur, not as a freelancer. Even on your prices, it may translate in a different pricing if you are seen differently. Think about it. Before I go, I would like to say, please, if you have an opinion, if you have anything, any question that you would like to ask about websites, as I said, I'll be talking about websites and different aspects of having a website throughout the month of May. But if you have any question regarding to this insider of today, please leave me a comment below. I will be very happy to answer all your queries. And I also leave the link for my courses at Udemy. Soon there will be changes and that will be announced soon, but the course is still available there. So if you want, please have a look, and you know, put a like on the video, subscribe the channel with a click on the bell so you get a notification of a new insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.